get rid of the toxic people from your life and gain confidence. It's as simple as that. I realized recently that I'm actually the most confident I've ever been as a person and in my abilities, and a huge factor for this has actually been my surroundings, the people who are in my circle, and the people who I'm seeing on a daily basis.
You're a real friend.
So much of confidence actually comes down to who we choose to surround ourselves with. And being that now I'm out of school, I work from home, and I'm also working for myself, I'm in charge of who I surround myself with. In case you guys didn't know this about me, I'm a highly sensitive person, and I've always been this way, and I used to see this as a weakness. But now I actually view this as a huge, massive strength. I can truly tap into and feel how others make me feel when they're surrounding me. And what I've discovered is that as I've gotten rid of the toxic people from my life, where I do have control over this, my overall confidence and belief in myself has skyrocketed. So I want to help you guys to be able to do this as well for yourselves. Let's dive deeper now.
Give me a...
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Jared and James channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know, that must mean that you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links purchased are on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, support me. Any support is very much appreciated, as I'm always saying. So something that I realized recently, as well as something I'm often told these days, is that I'm a very confident person, and I can actually feel this myself.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Are you feeling it?
I mean, the other day, I actually approached this girl at the gym who has millions of followers, and I asked her to come on the podcast. And she also happens to have a super powerful story. I don't want to give too much away just in case it doesn't actually work out, but I'm hoping I can get her on here. But anyways, I even shocked myself at how much confidence I had going up to her and inviting her on the podcast. And the crazy thing was, it actually felt supernatural to me. It almost came about as second nature. I feel like for me and many others out there too, especially when it comes to highly sensitive people like myself, middle school and high school can often destroy our confidence and can destroy our self-esteem.
We're the guys everybody used to pick on before you started here.
And I'm not saying that I ever looked down on myself, because I always had the utmost belief in my potential and I always knew what I was capable of. But during that time, my confidence was often taking hits because subconsciously I was always concerned about what others thought of me, whether or not this person liked me. And as much as I told myself that their opinions didn't matter, it's not easy. But something else that I actually realized was that a lot of this wasn't my own fault, per se.
You know what? I don't blame myself.
It had to do so much with who I was surrounded by, especially because in the summers when I was working in the day camp I used to work at, I was surrounded by way more positive people, and as a result, I felt way more confident in who I was, and I felt way more comfortable in being my true self and allowing my true self to emerge and come through and shine. However, during the whole school year, I often dealt with super negative, super toxic classmates, teammates, coaches, and so much of this energy would often be subconsciously absorbed into me, even though I always thought of myself as this super positive, super optimistic person who always believed that anything is possible.
Anything's possible!
So of course, in a lot of these cases, the people who were in my life during that time were outside of my control. But now I realize I'm out of college and have way more control and way more decision making when it comes to who I let into my life. And as a result, I'm incredibly discerning when it comes to who I interact with, when it comes to who I have on the podcast, when it comes to who I speak to at the gym, who I play sports with. And sometimes it's not easy to choose.
Choose.
Baby, please.
We don't always get to choose everyone who we're surrounded by, but I am very intentional when it comes to who I let into my life, as well as understanding when it's time to let someone go, because that person is no longer serving my best interests and isn't adding anything to my life anymore. And by having that person hang around, they're actually only going to be draining all the positivity and all that goodness from your spiritual reservoir. When that person is no longer aligned with who you want to be, it's time to let them go.
Time to just let her go, Frank.
And remember, it's also totally fine and encouraged to actually outgrow people and to shed that dead weight, because when those people no longer serve you, they're only going to be holding you back by keeping them on board. So always do your best to feel out the energy, try to feel out the vibes that people are giving off, use your own body and your own intuition as a guide to who belongs and who doesn't. And this could be for friends, partners, teammates, co-workers, etc., etc. Wherever you have control over in your life, you need to be as intentional as possible with your surroundings and with your environment. And moving along, something else I want to get into is to use the people in your life as a mirror.
Magic mirror.
Don't tell him anything!
Look at who you're attracting. Are these people who are trying to better themselves and people who are trying to live with the highest vibration? Or are these going to be energy drainers? And remember also, some people may actually be a broken mirror and may actually deceive us.
Oh, the deception!
In my case right now, as I look around me, it makes so much sense why I'm the most confident that I've ever been. And as I said earlier, this wasn't always the case. But when I have people around me who uplift me, believe in me, rather than look for ways to bring me down, this will inherently raise my own vibration, especially because words are vibration too. So when you're constantly receiving negativity from the people around us, this is going to slowly seep into us.
You suck!
And over time, the energy is going to weigh down on us. And yes, also to be clear, a lot of my confidence is simply due to everything like I'm doing to work on myself on a daily basis, by taking on challenges, working on my mental health, being observant over the words I'm speaking, the music I'm listening to, the content I'm intaking. So a large part of it is of course due to my own individual actions, but I can't deny how powerful it is, the impact that my environment and my surroundings are having over me. Also, another super powerful example of this confidence in action was actually the other day I was playing basketball. I was playing pickup basketball at my gym, and I noticed like I actually wasn't even worrying about messing up.
I don't miss.
I was actually playing with a sense of freedom, confidence in myself, and I was balling out, not gonna lie. Not trying to brag or anything. But on the other hand, if I'm playing with toxic teammates, and once again me being a highly sensitive person, I can feel that negative energy whenever someone blames me for making a mistake. I can feel it whenever someone shakes their head every time I take a shot. I can also hear and feel it physically whenever people are doubting me, or are speaking bad about me, or speaking negatively about me. But when I was constantly trying to prove myself to others, in hopes of receiving some type of external validation, this often left me feeling empty and not worthy. But when I'm doing things simply for the joy of playing the game, whether it's basketball, or whether it's just like the game of life in general, or to show myself what I'm capable of, and show myself like anything is possible, this will always be more fulfilling. I mean, the other day I was doing moves like I didn't even know I had in my bag. I was taking fadeaway jumpers, I was doing all these sneaky, crafty finishes.
All they want to do is the fadeaway, crossover, jibby jabber jump shots.
I was going tween, step back three, balling out, splash.
Tween. Curl cross, tween, one dribble, snatch, tween, spin move.
Look at the bench, look at his face.
Yeah.
But the most amazing thing about it was, so much of this was just simply based on allowing my creative mind to work without this fear or without this constant judgment from my teammates and from the people around me. And at the end, everyone was coming up to me, calling me a lights out shooter, telling me how great I did. But like, I wasn't even focused on that because I was just focused on staying in the present moment and having fun playing the game of basketball, which is something I've loved for all these years. Self-flexing the whole lights out shooter, I know. But playing for negative coaches and alongside negative teammates is essentially the same thing as playing with like a weighted vest full of negative energy. And I don't care how good you are, and this also goes for other areas of life as well. If you're surrounded by constant negativity, it's gonna make it super hard and super challenging to succeed and to play your best. I mean, back in high school, once again, on the various basketball teams I was on some teams I was scoring 20 points a game, but meanwhile on other teams I was only scoring 2 to 4 points a game. What changed though? Was I any worse of a player? No, but some teams I was on, I knew I was being given the green light to let my skills shine, to take my shots, without everyone constantly judging me, or screaming at me to pass the ball to them, or tell me how much better they were than me, and why they should be taking the shots. I was being encouraged by the coaches, being encouraged by the teammates, whereas in some of the other teams, I was essentially waiting to be yelled at by my coach. I was waiting to get taken out for every mistake.
What was that? I thought I had the shot.
You thought? How many times do I have to say this?
I was waiting to get blamed by every teammate, but as I said, the other day for instance, I was so confident when I was playing because I was no longer surrounded by this toxic energy in my life as a whole and during these games. And thus, my skills were able to emerge and shine through as a result. And furthermore, when it comes to the example of basketball, if we look at someone like Jimmer Fredette,
Macklin is watching Fredette with a three. Bullseye!
one of the best college basketball players of all time, versus what he did when he was in the NBA. What was the difference? Did he suddenly lose his skills? Did he suddenly lose his ability to drain all these deep threes? I mean, as far as I see it, like, he should be doing exactly what Steph Curry is doing. But the two have very different surroundings, very different coaches, very different teammates, so he wasn't given the same opportunities. He didn't have all these people believing in him, and as a result, he ends up going overseas and ends up scoring all these points over there. Or if we look at Kwame Brown, someone who I recently spoke about on one of my Leftover Lives episodes on the Rabbit Hole Roundup channel. He was the #1 pick in high school, but then once he got to the NBA, he got bullied. He had all these toxic teammates, and as a result, like, it made it super hard on him. And I'm not saying to make excuses or to always be relying on other people's opinions of ourselves, because external validation is never going to fill us up the way that like intrinsic motivation and intrinsic belief in ourselves will. So sometimes it is up to us to become so mentally strong and to develop this inner mental fortitude so that we're actually able to overcome our surroundings and defy the doubt and rise above, which, as you guys know by now, is obviously one of my main messages. But all I'm saying is that, like, whenever possible, when we do have control over our surroundings, we need to remove the toxic and remove that dead weight. And the same thing goes when it comes to removing toxic foods from our diet, when it comes to removing toxic thoughts by staying mindful of our thought patterns. And this is actually one of the reasons why, tying this into holistic health, why I believe that, like, detoxing the body is so important. It doesn't only make your body feel better, but it also has a massive effect on your spiritual powers and how you feel about yourself on a personal level, which is why I'm always saying it's all connected. Body, mind, spirit. You can't separate one from the others. So sometimes if you look at the food you're eating, or if you have a sluggish gut, this too can be a hidden cause of why you're not as confident in yourself as you wish you were, or why you're not as positive and optimistic. It's because your body is literally full of toxic and negative energy.
I wouldn't go in there for a couple days. For weeks.
And the final aspect that I want to cover in this video is I actually want to read an excerpt from my book Fight Through It, because I actually have a powerful chapter in the book that's called Get Rid of the Fluff and the Toxic. So midway through the chapter I say, it's not easy getting rid of people in your life, but it is a necessary thing to learn to do. It's also pivotal to let go of any hostility towards those who wronged you in your life, because that just drains you from moving forward. Don't let anyone rent space in your head unless they're a good tenant. Why should you be around people who will make you feel like you are incredible and realize how awesome a person you are to be with? Value yourself, value your time, and get rid of the fluff. Having fake people around is like fluff. It doesn't need to be there, and it's only adding weight that's making it harder for you to get around. Sadly, a lot of people change for the worse as they get older, or maybe they were always like that deep down. But sometimes you were the one who changes and grows, and you outgrow those people around you because you are leveling up and they want to stay where they are. Indeed, oftentimes, a friendship can take a detour when friends are going through different experiences in their lives, so you may go a long time without speaking while knowing the bond will always be there, and then somewhere down the road you reconnect. While other times some people become jerks, and oftentimes you realize you spent years around that person. That doesn't mean you need to continue being around them. This also makes you appreciate the amazing people in your life so much more. Don't cling to a mistake just because you spent a long time making it. Get rid of toxic people and you will feel much better. You're going to be more confident. So once again, to be clear, I'm not telling you guys that you're always going to have control over the people who are around you in your life. And sometimes you may have to, like, overcome that doubt. You may have to overcome the toxic negative environment. But once you do break past that environment, and once you do level up beyond that, then it is actually up to you to surround yourself with better people, so that this way you don't end up getting bogged down by negative toxic energy. And what you're going to realize is how much more confident you feel in yourself, how much more you believe in yourself, and how much more your natural abilities are going to be able to shine through, and you're going to be able to bring your best self into every room. You're going to be able to bring your best energy. So get rid of the toxic, become more confident. It's as simple as that. Anyways, I love you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. Buy the book. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next video. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.